It's time for your Low Country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning, Charleston, and welcome to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. I'm your host, Brian Beatty, and thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning into this program, this is where we talk about all things housing here in the Low Country. I've been in the top 1% of real estate agents since 2009. I sell over 100 homes a year, and I use this show as a platform to inform you on what's going on with housing in the Low Country. I like to take my experience as somebody that's in the market every day and help you understand what's going on in our market so that if you're considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, you are an informed consumer. Now, if you're thinking about making a move in real estate, you want to buy or sell a home or invest in some properties, I invite you to give me a call personally. Again, I have been in the top 1% of agents here since 2009, and we work with well over 100 homeowners a year to help them buy and sell. So I invite you to give me a call personally. I can be reached at 843-345-1273. That's my cell, 843-345-1273. You can also go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and on that website, you can look at everything I have for sale, everything I've sold. You can search the MLS, learn more about me, and if you're thinking about selling your house, click on the Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about what I do to market my properties for sale, and you can also learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee, which very simply states that I will sell your home in 59 days or less, or I'll sell it for half my commission, 4.5% commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that. So let me give you an idea of what I want to talk about here over the next hour on this program. I want to talk first about what you need to know to sell a house. And it's going to be very simple. It's going to revolve around three things: price, condition, and marketing. And I'm going to dive deep into that in just a second. But we're also going to talk about the market in general. How are things going right now? Are things starting to slow down? I'm going to give you some very specific numbers based on the Tri-County area. I'm going to break it down county-wide, and then I'm going to go deep into each individual area of that county, and I'm going to tell you the average sales price, what's happened to inventory, what's happened to sales, how quickly are homes selling, and how much are they selling off of their asking price. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're also going to talk about the closing process. What happens when you put your home under contract? What is that process like from start to finish? I'm going to dive deep into that. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is ethics in real estate. It's something that I focus a lot on this program on. And I've got a few examples that I want to share with you toward the end of the program, something for you to think about. I use this show as a way to kind of get a snapshot into the life of a real estate agent. So I'm going to give you some real world examples on ethical dilemmas that real estate agents face and what you need to know to make sure that you're protected. So again, if at any time you want to reach out to me, give me a call, 843-345-1273, or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. So let's talk to sellers first. What do you need to know right now if you're going to sell your house? Let's focus on three things over the next few minutes here: price, condition, and marketing. So let's start first with price. Can we all agree that any house will sell if the price is low enough? And can we also agree that the price that you set for your home is a function of the condition of your home? I would hope the answer is yes. Well, if you're like me, I have yet to meet anybody that's comfortable selling their house for less than fair market value because the agent didn't do a good enough job in marketing the property. Now, what do I mean by that? It means that marketing establishes and enhances the value of your home. And what you need to understand is that there are plenty of agents out there that would rather tell you to just drop your price than invest additional marketing dollars to promote your home for sale. Now, having said that, if we're getting a bunch of showings but there's no offers, then clearly something is going on there. Either they don't agree with your home's value at the current price, or they don't want to inherit a construction project if there are some condition-related issues. So let's break that down just a little bit further. Let's focus on price for a minute. If you're a seller, you're considering putting your home on the market, first thing I want to tell you is to not fall into the trap of hiring the real estate agent that's going to give you the best or the highest price at your listing appointment. When you interview several real estate agents, you need to look at several things that they do. How do they find buyers? How do they market their properties for sale? What's their track record like? How many homes have they sold? How quickly are they selling? What's the difference between the asking price and the sales price? All of those things are incredibly important, but what happens very often in our market, in any market across the country, is that sellers just go with the agent that gives them the highest price. That has to be a very researched number. So if you're going to put your home on the market and an agent tells you a price that might be too good to be true, or they totally agree with everything that you're saying, well, look, let me say this. If you're a seller, you have the right to market your home for whatever amount you want. It's up to us as the real estate agent to be able to substantiate that value through comparable sales. So if you're a seller, first thing you need to do, of course, is look at your competition. Look at everything else that a buyer is going to look at in your price range, in your area, in your square footage range. You want to be in the top 3 choices for those buyers at a minimum. So think about it this way. I like to use this analogy from time to time. Let's say it's Saturday night and you're going out for a night on the town and you want to see the new big action movie of the year. And when you get there, the line is huge and you're concerned that you're not going to get a ticket. It's going to sell out before you get a chance to buy a ticket. Well, if there was a way for you to cut in line and move to 2 or 3 people behind the person that's currently buying their tickets right now, would you do it? Well, of course you would. If there was no ethical dilemma with you cutting in line, if someone said, hey, you can sneak right in here, it's not a problem, would you do it? Yes, of course you would. So think about it that way. The real estate market's the same way. When you have a line of 6 months worth of inventory that represents active properties for sale, the way that you cut the line is by pricing your home correctly from the start. See, a lot of those agents that are going to tell you the really high price already know that 30 to 45 to 60 days in, they're going to ask you for a price reduction. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to give you the price that you want. They're going to try it, knowing full well that the market does not substantiate that price. At the end of the day, whenever you sell a home and a buyer's getting a mortgage, that property has to appraise for the purchase price or more. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for further negotiations once you've already got the home under contract, removed the home from the market, and now you've got an appraisal that's less than the contract amount. You've got your hopes up. You've maybe made some plans to move. You might even have put a down payment on a place to rent, or you're under contract with another home to buy, and now you're faced with having to lower the price for your house. You get less equity for your down payment moving forward, and it just becomes a big mess. So with regard to price, make sure that you research the market. I can't say that carefully enough to you. Don't just go with the agent that's going to tell you the highest price. If that price is achievable, by all means, let's go for it. Let's get you the most money possible. But it has to be based on fair market value, and it has to be based on what other buyers have paid for similar properties. So that's my little rant about price. Let's move to condition. I like to tell all of my sellers that I like my properties to be the prettiest girl at the dance. You know, when buyers are busy and they're going online and they're looking at a ton of properties online, first of all, buyers don't want to inherit construction projects. If they go online and they see that you didn't do everything that you needed to do to prepare your home for sale, they see scuffs on the walls, they see flooring that needs to be refinished, they see a landscaping mess, whatever the case might be, buyers are going to look at that and they're going to say, wow, those projects are going to take time, and time is money. So for a buyer, they're going to try and beat you up over that price. I was working with a seller that we're going to be listing early next week, and he's a for sale by owner, and he flipped the house, and he did a really nice job with it. It's about 95% done. But it's been my experience as somebody that's worked with about 1,000 people over the past 10 years that buyers judge a home based on that last 5%. The punch list, so to speak. If they see walls that need to be painted, and they see flooring that needs to be taken care of, and they see things like caulk or landscaping, or your home needs to be power washed, all of these are fairly inexpensive things that you as a seller can do to maintain the value of your home. If a buyer sees those issues, they're going to want a reduction in price as a result of it. So for you as a seller, it's up to you as to whether or not you decide to do those things before you put your property on the market for sale. But I would highly encourage you, when you walk through with your real estate agent, to go through the house room by room and say, these are the things that you could do. These are the things that you should do. I'm not a fan at all of wasting people's money. I am not a believer in doing things to a house that I don't think are going to create a return on investment for you, the seller. Now, not everything that we're going to do is going to get you 100% of your money back, but it might help you sell your home faster. Especially if it's a vacant home, a faster sale means more money for you because you inevitably have carrying costs associated with that house. So price is a function of marketing in a sense, but it also has to take into account the condition of the property. The condition of the property is up to you, the seller, as to how far you want to take things to prepare it for the market. Because at the end of the day, buyers are incredibly intelligent these days. They have access to so much information online that they're going to know, for the most part, what your home is worth based on the research that they've done, based on the homes that they've already seen. And so for all those sellers that are on the market, and I see the photos online or on the MLS, and I see, clothes on the floor, and I see, dirty socks in the bathroom, and I see just all these little things that could have taken an hour to clean up to make the property presentable, at least online, those are things that are potentially hurting you when you go to sell your house. I want to continue this discussion, and I want to talk next about marketing because it's something I focus a lot on this program, and I want to give you some very clear-cut ideas for what you need to do to promote your home for sale, and you have to have an understanding of how this marketing works so that you can properly evaluate the agent that you choose to hire to sell your home. So all that and more as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues right here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you're thinking about selling your house. I can be reached at 843-345-1273, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. Click on that Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. Listingsincharleston.com. And this is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Find Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. WTMA. Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. If you're just joining us, this is where we talk about all things housing on this program. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate here in the Lowcountry, this is the one-stop resource for you so that you can become an informed consumer. I like to take national, regional, local data, apply that to us here in the Lowcountry, and then share my experiences with you as somebody that sells over 100 homes a year and as somebody that's been in the top 1% of our market for the past 6 going on 7 years now. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, whether it be just a general knowledge question, I get emails all the time from people saying, hey, I heard you on the program. Just a quick question for you. Can you help me? The answer is absolutely. Never hesitate to reach out to me if it's something like a simple question that I can answer or a contact for something like a contractor or a landscaper, whatever the case might be. The point of this show is for me to help and inform you, the public, on what's going on in residential real estate. So if you'd like to contact me, maybe you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give me a call personally. My number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. You can also go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and take a look at everything for sale in the Tri-County area. You can learn more about me as a real estate agent. And if you're thinking about selling your house, click on the Sell Your Home tab, and you can learn more about what I do to market my properties for sale. And you can also learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee, which very simply states that I will sell your home in 59 days or less, or I'll sell it for half my commission, 4.5% commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that. And again, feel free to reach out to me with any real estate related question. So before I took a break, we were talking about price, condition, and marketing. We got to price, we got to condition. I want to focus some time now on talking about marketing real estate. We are still in a competitive market for buyers, which means that sellers have the luxury of pushing the envelope when it comes to pricing their house. Now, I may actually encourage a seller from time to time to overprice their house by a few percentage points if I truly think that there's enough demand there for them to achieve their goal of selling for top dollar without listing it for such a high price that we actually don't get showings, that it actually hurts us because the buyers see the value and they say, no way, I'm not paying that for that house, and they're not even going to come and see it. So I don't have an issue in this market with pushing the envelope when it comes to prices, and there have been plenty of times this year already where I've been surprised. I'll give you a perfect example. We sold a house to a guy in the peninsula, and this was maybe 5 months ago. $165,000 house, little 2-bed, 2-bath house, awesome house, very nicely done. There was a bidding war, and the buyer ended up winning the bid by just a few dollars, and they ended up closing on the property. Well, a few months later, the buyer that was supposed to be getting a job here in Charleston learned that that job actually fell through. So he was going to go and move back to Alabama and work for his father's company. So I got a call from the father out of the blue about 4 months ago, and he said, hey, Brian, I know we just bought this house. What do you think I can sell it for? And I said, well, let me look and see what's happened over the course of the past few months. I don't think much has happened because at the time that you bought that house, it was one of the highest price homes in the neighborhood. And remember, it's a 2-bedroom house. So the market for that kind of property is slimmer than obviously the 3-bedroom offerings in that same general area. Well, he said, I can't afford to lose any money on this property. So what I need to do is price it at $179,000. I said, well, here's the issue with that. There are no sales in that neighborhood that justifies that price. So we might be able to get a buyer to agree to make us an offer, even if it's at that price, but we're still going to have the challenge of having that home appraised if that buyer is getting a mortgage. And he said, I'm not really in a position to have a lot of options here. We got to give it a shot. So I said, well, I'm going to do everything that I can to market the you-know-what out of that property and find you a buyer. And lo and behold, within the first week, we had 2 separate offers on the house. One for like $172 and then another for like $174. Amazing offers. And both times the seller didn't take it. And hey, it's his choice. He doesn't have to take anything that I present to him. But I did offer my advice in saying that, I really think that you should take this offer. It's a good offer. It's considerably higher than what you bought it for. It's 5% more than what you bought your home for 5 months ago. And he said, Brian, I can't do it. Well, to my surprise, we ended up finding a buyer that was willing to pay full price for the house. Shocked. I was shocked. And that doesn't happen very often because I sell over 100 homes a year. I know what's going on in our market. And every piece of advice that I give a seller is to protect them and to make sure that we're doing everything we can to accomplish their goal of selling their property. Well, at the end of the day, this buyer ended up paying full price for the house. They didn't care what the appraisal was, and they closed on the property last week. Unbelievable to me. Now, I have to tell you that if I were a buyer agent, I would have said the complete opposite to the buyer. I would have said, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, I feel as though it's my duty to tell you that you are paying a very high price for this house. There are no other comps in the area that suggest it's worth what you're willing to pay. It's your decision. If you want the home, you love the home, and you're going to stay here for a long time, then it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I do feel that you're overpaying for this house. Well, at the end of the day, we got the deal closed. I was incredibly elated. So was the seller. And I can count on one hand probably over the past 5 years where I have been shocked at what a buyer was willing to do to purchase one of my listings. And this was one of them. So it brings me back to this conversation about marketing. How did we achieve that? How did we sell a house for 7% more than what a buyer bought it for 5 months ago without adding any value whatsoever to the house? Did the market actually appreciate 7% over the past 5 months? The honest answer is no, I don't think it did. But we were able to create an emotional connection between the house and that buyer so that the buyer said, you know what? I don't care what the fair market value is to an extent, obviously. But I want this house. I want to buy it. It's exactly what I'm looking for. We presented it in a way that made sense, and we ended up selling the property. Now, I'll give you another example. I took a listing 45 days ago that we just put under contract this week. It was previously on the market, I think, for a total of 14 months, 6 months with one agent and 10 months with another agent. It did not sell. They had one offer. The offer was a lowball offer. They had very few showings, and it just wasn't working out for them. The seller had kind of lost hope, but they needed to sell. So we sat down, we talked about what we needed to do to promote the home better and put it in front of the right kind of buyers for that house. It was a high-priced home on James Island, higher price point, just under $1 million. Well, we sold it in 45 days, and we didn't change the price. How did we do that? We marketed the property differently from other real estate agents. So I'm going to give you one more kind of analogy. I like to fish. I like with little free time that I have these days in running a real estate business and then watching our 1-year-old daughter. I like to go fishing. So I'll walk off the end of my dock and get in my kayak, and I'll fish with artificial bait, and I'll just drift with the current, and I'll fish docks, and I'll fish the edge of the marsh. And because I'm covering so much ground, I catch a good amount of fish. So I think about that from a marketing perspective from time to time. If you think about what most real estate agents do, they don't do professional photography. They just put the home in the MLS, and then they react to agents that want to show the home and ultimately bring them an offer. There's not a lot of proactive marketing out there. So I equate that to just fishing off the end of the dock. Putting your line in the water, sitting in a chair, and then waiting for a fish to swim by. For me, I like to run with the tide and throw my line in the water as many times as possible with the hope of finding fish proactively. So that holds true in marketing if you think about it. When you hire a real estate agent, you want to hire the agent that's going to give you the best chance possible of finding a buyer for your home. They do that by putting as many lines in the water as possible with hopes of getting a bite. So when we talk about online marketing and we talk about things like professional photography, which is a must for me, if I'm going to take your listing, again, like I said last segment, I want my homes to be the prettiest girl at the dance. I truly believe that the way that your home is presented online is the make or break as to whether or not that home sells fast and for the most amount of money. Because buyers are so picky in what they're looking for online, and you've done it yourself. You have. If you're looking at pictures of a car or a boat or a house, if there aren't good pictures or if there are limited pictures, you just aren't going to spend the same amount of time on that thing as you would if there are professional photos and a video, and you get all the information you need so that you can answer your questions about that property and check off all your boxes as to whether or not that property fits your search criteria. The same holds true with marketing. I did a search last week. I was going on a listing appointment for homes between $600,000 and $750,000 in Mount Pleasant in a certain neighborhood. I pulled up 9 properties. Not a single one had professional photography. I was shocked. It's almost comical at this point that the lengths at which a real estate agent will go to not proactively market their home. And I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. I don't understand why agents don't invest in their own marketing to promote their own listings. They rely on what their company provides them with, and they rely on the MLS because they think that's the best tool for finding buyers. It's an effective tool, but it needs to be used in conjunction with everything else that a professional real estate agent is going to do to market your home for sale. There's a ton more that I could talk about on this topic, but I'm going to move past it and we're going to switch gears. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on in our market. I'm going to give you some real numbers, some real statistics based on your area in the Low Country. If you're thinking about selling your house, if anything that I've said struck a chord with you, feel free to call me. I'm here to answer your questions and would love the opportunity to earn your business. I can be reached at 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. And don't forget to click on that Sell Your Home tab so you can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. I'm going to take another break and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
The Big Talker, WTMA.
You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. We've talked about a lot already this hour. We've talked about price, condition, and marketing if you're thinking about selling your home. So if you're just tuning in, I'm going to post this on my website for you to listen to a little later on in the week. That website is listingsincharleston.com. You can also go to that website and look at everything available for sale in the Tri-County area, and you can learn more about me as somebody that sells over 100 homes a year and has been in the top 1% of agents in our market since 2009. So again, the website for that, listingsincharleston.com. You can also call me personally at 843-345-1273. And I just like to take a little bit of time at every program and say thank you to those of you that reach out to me, whether it's a general knowledge question, something I can help you with real estate related, or of course, those of you that hire me as a function of this show to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate. So thank you very much for entrusting me as your real estate expert. And if you'd like to reach out to me again, 843-345-1273, or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. Now, I have a lot of information to get through over the next 10 minutes or so in this market update segment, which is something I do once a month when the numbers come out for our market. So I want to talk first about just the general Tri-County area, and then I'm going to break it down by county, and then I'm going to break it down by individual area by county. So listen up, because I'm going to run through this information quickly, but I am going to get to your specific area. So let's talk about just the Tri-County area in general. And these are all going to be year-to-date numbers versus the same amount of time in 2014. So far this year, we've had a 10% increase in new listings. We've had a 23% increase in pending sales. That means properties that have been put under contract. And we've had a 17% increase in closings. Already, as of the end of August, we have sold 11,000 properties. The average days on market so far this year is 63 days. That's down 22% from 81 days in 2014. And the average sales price is up 3% across the board. Our total month supply of inventory, which is a function of supply and demand, is at 4 months. So that means that if no other properties came on the market, as of right now, it would take 4 months to sell off the entire supply of homes in our market. A balanced market is 6 to 8 months worth of inventory. So obviously the lower the number, the less choices there are for buyers, which means that buyers become more competitive and they pay more for properties, which is what creates appreciation. So let me talk to you about Berkeley County. For single-family homes, we've had a 13% increase in new listings, a 24% increase in closings, and an 8% increase in the average sales price. If you're in Berkeley County, expect your home to sell for 97% of its asking price and in 57 days. Within Berkeley County, on Daniel Island, we've had an 11% decrease in new listings. Closings are up 11%, and the average sales price is up 13% on Daniel Island. Homes are selling for almost 99% of their asking price, and they're selling in 65 days. That's down from 78 days in 2014. In Hanahan, new listings are up 3%, closings are up 51%, and the average sales price is up 6%. They're selling for 96% of their asking price, and they're selling in 58 days. In Goose Creek and Monk's Corner, we've had a 21% increase in new listings, a 21% increase in sales, and the average sales price is up 6%. Properties are selling for 97.5% of their asking price and in 53 days. The Wando-Cainhoy area, new listings are only up 2%, but closings are up 34%. The average sales price is up 17.5%. They're selling for 99% of their asking price, and they're selling in 70 days on average. Let's move over to Charleston County. Charleston County has seen an 8% increase in new listings, a 15% increase in closings, and a 4% increase in the average sales price. Across the board, they're selling for 96% of their asking price and they're selling in 64 days. In downtown Charleston, the historic portion of the peninsula, we've had a 23% reduction in new listings. Closings are down 2%. There's really not much change there, actually. The average sales price is down 11%. The average days on market is 104, and properties are selling for 93% of their asking price. Now, if you go to the upper part of the peninsula, new listings are down 9%, closings are down 5%, but the average sales price is up 7%. They're selling for 95% of their asking price, and they're selling in 56 days. On James Island, we've had a 6% reduction in new listings, a 15% increase in closed sales. The average sales price is up 11%. They're selling for 96% of their asking price, and in 53 days. That's down from 73 days in 2014. On Johns Island, we've had a 48% increase in new listings. Closings are up 69%. We've had 328 closings as of the end of August. That's an incredible number. The average sales price is up 6%. They're selling for 97.5% of their asking price, and they're selling in 52 days. In West Ashley, we've had a 5% increase in new listings, a 12% increase in closings. The average sales price is up 8%. Properties are selling for 96% of their asking price, and in 48 days. That's down 30%, by the way, from 2014. In the North Charleston area in Charleston County, we've had a 13% increase in new listings, a 30% increase in closings. The average sales price is up 12% from last year. Properties are selling for 96% of their asking price, and in 53 days. That's down from 85 days in 2014, so that's a 38% reduction in the amount of time it's going to take you to sell. That's great news if you're a seller. In the upper Mount Pleasant area, above the Isle of Palms connector, the new listings are up 8%, closings are up 4%. The average sales price is up almost 9%. They're selling for 98% of their asking price, and they're selling in 68 days. In lower Mount Pleasant, we've had a 12% increase in new listings, a 3% increase in closings. The average sales price is up 9%. Properties are selling for 96% of their asking price, and they're selling in only 50 days. On Folly Beach, we've had a 9% increase in new listings, a 57% increase in closings. The average sales price hasn't changed. It's down 1%. If you're selling, expect to get 92% of your asking price and sell it in 135 days. On the Isle of Palms, we've had a 6% reduction in new listings. Closings are up 31%. The average sales price is up 15%. They're selling for 91% of their asking price, and they're selling in 146 days. No change there since last year. In Sullivan's Island, we've had a 30% increase in new listings. We have not had a change in the number of closings so far this year, but the average sales price is up 5%. They're selling for 93% of their asking price and in 127 days. Now let's move to Dorchester County. And sorry again for rifling this information off so quickly. I just have a lot of it to get through. So bear with me. For Dorchester County, we've had a 16% increase in new listings, a 17% increase in closings. The average prices are up 5%. They're selling for 97% of their asking price and in 59 days. Now in Somerville, which is where the majority of these sales are derived from, we have a 12% increase in new listings, an 18% increase in closings. The average sales price is up 5%. They're getting 97% of their asking price, and they're selling in 64 days. The Dorchester Road corridor of Dorchester County, we've had a 21% increase in new listings, an 11% increase in closings. The average sales price is up 6%. They're selling for 97% of their asking price, and they're selling in only 47 days. That's 37% faster than last year. In the Hollywood, Ravenel, Megget area, we've had a 37% increase in new listings. Closings are up 12%. The average sales price is up 31%. Again, we've only had 75 closings, so don't get too thrown off by that number, by the way. They're selling for 93% of their asking price, and they're selling in 99 days. And then the last area that I focus on is the St. George and kind of the rural area of Dorchester County, where new listings are up 45%, closings are up 52%. There hasn't been any change so far this year in the average sales price. They're selling for 91% of their asking price, and they're selling in 99 days. So that's everything in the Tri-County area. If you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, I offer a free service that lets you know what happens to your property value every time there's a closing in your neighborhood. And I put that out on a monthly basis. So if that's something that you want, if you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood and how it impacts the value of your home, Whether you're thinking of selling now or selling in 10 years from now, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to set you up on that service. So feel free to contact me for that. You can call me at 843-345-1273, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and you can learn more, of course, about what I do to sell my properties for sale. And if you click on the contact form, give me your address, your email, and your phone number, and I'll set you up with that system, and I'll notify you once a month on what's happened to the value of your home. Listingsincharleston.com, again, is the website for that. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got just a little bit more to discuss right here on the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Broadcast Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday mornings at 10 on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. WTMA. Now, the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues on Charleston's Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. As we have just a few minutes left in this program, we've already talked about a lot this hour. We've talked about what you need to know if you're a seller. We've focused on three major areas: price, condition, and marketing. And I gave some very specific examples within those three areas on what you need to know before you hire an agent and what you need to do to prepare your home for sale. And then, of course, how we structure a property through marketing and condition and price to sell it quickly. So if you've missed all of that, feel free to reach out to me. My number is 843-345-1273, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and you can catch this version of the show first part of next week, where we always upload the previous week's show on that website. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that. And of course, you can contact me if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing in real estate. I have been in the top 1% of agents here since 2009, sell over 100 homes a year, and would be happy to earn your business. So again, listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that kind of stuff. I want to finish out this hour by talking about something that I'm very, very, very passionate about, and that's ethics in this industry. I struggle sometimes with talking about this on air because I never want my listenership to think that I am here to throw real estate agents under the bus. That is not what I do. That is not what I focus on. But I do focus on informing you, the listener, and the public on what you need to know about real estate so that you're protected. And I had an issue happen earlier this week where basically I lost a listing opportunity before I even had a chance to pitch myself and my team and my process for selling real estate. So here's what happened. A seller was frustrated with their current real estate agent. They are on the market and listed with a current realtor, a good realtor, by the way. So they called me up and they said, Brian, we're interviewing agents. We're thinking about firing our current agent. We're not happy with what's happened so far, and we'd like to have you out to the house to discuss it. Now, the very quick, short, and correct answer is that I'm sorry, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, but you're currently represented by another real estate agent, and I can't help you, especially when you're in an agreement with them. So if it gets to the point where your home doesn't sell or your contract expires, or if you're no longer working together, then at that point in time, I am happy to talk to you about marketing your home in an effort to earn your business, but I can't step on your current agent's toes and I can't meet with you to discuss why I'm different. It would be misconstrued as me soliciting your listing. Well, they fired their agent. They had another agent already lined up based on interviews that they held. I'm not going to name any names, but that's just one of many examples that I see in this industry where the seller, in my opinion, I'm going to be honest, the seller knows what they're doing. They know that it's not okay to go behind their current agent's back and interview other real estate agents while they're in an exclusive agreement with them. But the real estate agents should know better, and they should inform that seller if the seller doesn't know, and they should be professional and ethical and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that because it's a violation of the code of ethics and it's just not the right thing to do. That's not how I run my business. I'm not here to throw other agents under the bus or step on another agent's back for my own self-benefit. And it's an issue that I see all the time, and it's an unfortunate one, but we as real estate agents need to do a better job of policing our own industry. That's just the bottom line. We need to inform the public, and we need to let the South Carolina Real Estate Association and the Charleston Trident Association of Realtors know about stuff like this so that people don't continuously get away with it. I'm not going to focus a ton on what real estate agents are doing because I don't want that to be the focus. But what you need to understand as a buyer or seller or investor is that the agent that you choose to hire should be an agent that gets along well with other agents, because at the end of the day, we all rely on ourselves as an industry to work well with one another because we all play in the same sandbox. There's one of me and there's 4,000 of them. So when I take a listing as an example, it's very reasonable to assume that another real estate agent is going to represent that buyer. Now, obviously, I'm going to do everything I can to try and find a buyer for the house that's not working with a real estate agent right now. But a big part of what we do is marketing to other real estate agents. And guess what? If you're one of those real estate agents that doesn't get along well with other real estate agents, or that has a bad reputation, or somebody that's just kind of scummy, then that could potentially impact you as a seller. But how are you going to know that? By just having a conversation with that agent. I think that if I could give you one really big piece of advice when you hire a real estate agent, is to go with your gut. I've had plenty of interviews where they went with me and they said, Brian, we liked your energy. We appreciated the fact that you're straightforward. You're not here to blow any smoke. You're here to lay out your plan and get the job done. I am not big on puffery. I'm not here to say that I'm the number one intergalactic real estate agent for the universe in 2015. That's not me. I'm here to work hard and accomplish your goals and to do things the right way. So sorry for getting on a soapbox on that a little bit, but it's always difficult to get that across to people when we're sitting down at their kitchen table and we're talking about listing their property for sale, because they're going to have maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours with me before they decide to do business with me. And so one thing that I like to do is refer them to other clients that have worked with me. Say, hey, if you don't believe what I'm saying for whatever reason, you are more than welcome to call any of my previous clients, any of them. I'll give you the list and you can call them and you can ask your own questions. But I'm here to tell you that I operate with 3 very basic principles: passion, integrity, and results. I love what I do. No matter what I do it with the utmost integrity, with the intent of representing myself professionally and my properties and my clients professionally. And at the end of the day, people hire me for results. I could say all the nice, great things in the world, but if I can't get the job done, then guess what? I'm not going to be on this radio show very much longer, because you guys aren't going to believe a darn thing I'm saying. So I want to give you one more piece of advice. It's really more of an example, but let's say that you had an inspection done. You had a termite inspection done from your termite bond company. This came up recently, so I think it's a good example, and I'll make it kind of short. But I met with a homeowner. They said, look, we just had our quarterly inspection, and there's some termite activity underneath the house. Now, we're going to pay to get that remedied, but while I'm signing these documents, do I need to disclose that since we're going to fix it? Well, I would hope that if you're listening, the answer would be yes. But that's part of the reason why that property condition disclosure statement exists, is so that you can disclose any material defects about the property so that you're not leading on a buyer or their agent. It's really for your protection as a seller and as an agent for them to fill that thing out as best they can. It's better to over-disclose than, of course, to under-disclose. The last thing you want is to get in a lawsuit with a buyer. So the property condition disclosure statement is an incredibly important document. That is your CYA document for all intents and purposes, for lack of a better word. So if there are things that you know that are wrong with the house, even if you intend on fixing them, you still need to disclose it so that the buyers don't think you're misleading them once you're under contract to get the inspection and they find that issue out. The other thing is that if you have the opportunity to fix it, it might not come up on the inspection. At least you did the right thing by telling them that, hey, there's an issue. We're going to get it fixed. We'll send you the invoice, but we just wanted to let you know. That's how you create trust. That's how you get buyers to open up a little bit. And at the end of the day, if they've created that emotional connection with the house, you might be able to win when it comes time to get that inspection report and to negotiate repairs. So there's all kinds of examples that I can give you with regard to ethical dilemmas. What I'm going to do, because I just don't have time on this program to properly justify what we go through as real estate agents with regard to these ethical issues. So I'm going to post a bunch of examples on my website, and I invite you to go and read that sometime early next week. That website is listingsincharleston.com. So I tell you what, I'm out of time. Feel free to call me personally if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Would love the opportunity to work with you. My number is 843-345-1273. And again, that website, listingsincharleston.com, especially if you're thinking about selling your house. Click on that Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. Thanks again, Charleston, and have a great weekend.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273.